Hi, my name is Alistair Greetham. I'm a physiotherapist, movement teacher, and rehabilitation specialist. I've just been at one of the clinics that I work at, working with a client, and again going over the importance for them of how they walk and how they stand as it relates to their back.
So let's talk for a moment about why the foot is so important when we think about walking, back care, when we think about a range of activities, whether it be golf, it be tennis, running, skiing. The feet are such a critical component. Their mobility, their connection with the ground is one of the fundamentals in terms of how the rest of the body is able to organize itself. So if you want to improve your walking, your running, your golf, your sports activities, your general health and well-being, beginning to learn about your feet could be one of the most important things that you do. Now, for me, the great challenge in this is there's so much I want to get across. There's so many things that I want to teach people about. The frustrating thing is being able just to do little pieces. My aim is to get much more of this information out and present it in ways that people can access. For now, let's start to look at some elements that are problematic for feet. Stiff feet like these would be similar to driving a car with solid tires and no suspension. The forces that are being generated would be transmitted into the body, and road holding and handling, acceleration and deceleration would be challenging. So difficult to sustain a healthy relationship with the ground with feet and ankles that move in this way. Now let's look at something very different. So this next person here is Dr. Mark Cucuzella. So we'll see him running, and this is taken from his video on natural running, and I hope he doesn't mind me using this. So this is a beautiful example of how feet can be used to absorb force, to generate energy, and work in ways that are strong and flexible and adaptive. And this is really where we want to start to begin exploring our work with feet. So for this video, we're going to be really concentrating on what we could describe as the rear foot area, which is the ankle joint, the ankle articulation, the heel bone, the calcaneus, and its articulation with the middle part of the foot and how that influences the rest of the foot. And we're going to be looking at some simple but very powerful exercises to learn how to engage and get mobility in that rear foot area. So the foot can start to become a more independent and active structure for us as we move around, as we support the body, as we move through a variety of our daily activities. It would be good to watch the video through first before you practice the exercises. Also, pick which leg you want to try this with. So for the first time through, I would suggest you use the leg that you balance least well on. So just test. Walk around a little bit, get a feeling for how your foot feels, then test out which leg do you balance least easily on. Get the feeling and the sense of how you balance on that leg. So stop the video while you just do that, while you do that little activity. Okay, then once you've decided which foot you're going to work on and you've got the feeling for it, then come back and watch through and get the exercise. So let's begin in a sitting position with your knee directly over your foot, so your lower leg is vertical and the whole of the foot is resting nicely onto the floor. We're going to start to just draw the foot in and allow the foot to expand. Drawing the foot in, but then letting the foot expand and flatten and lengthen. And actually for this exercise, that's the bit that we're really interested in. We're really interested in the letting go part, that feeling of the foot being able to release away from the lower leg. So just if you can feel a little amount of drawing in of the foot, shortening of the foot, and then that releasing and spreading. So you notice I'm doing this, trying to keep my toes flexible. So I'm trying to make the foot do the work rather than the long tendons of the toes. So I'm wiggling my toes to try and keep the movement as much as possible to the foot. And remember, what we want to do is we want to get the foot to relax and release a little bit. So now we get into the exercise proper. So here what I'm beginning to do is to move my foot, but without moving the rest of my leg. Now you might not be able to do this easily to begin with. And as you persevere, you'll find it'll become easier and easier. So here you can see I'm leaving the leg in place and then rolling my heel just a small amount from side to side. And as much as possible, again, attempting to keep the movement into that rear foot complex and just allow the rest of the foot to move along with it. So here I'm also doing another movement that's independent. This time moving the leg relative to the foot. Leave the foot on the floor. Allow the leg to move inwards and outwards, and as much as possible keep the foot in contact with the floor. Go back and forth between those two movements. Now notice here the foot beginning to become more pliable and more flexible as I'm practicing the exercise. Keep performing these movements. Allow the movements to be soft. If possible, spend around 5 to 10 minutes just going backwards and forwards with these movements. Small and easy. Practice them whenever you can. These are exercises you can do at any point in time. Now go back and just feel the difference. See if there's any change in the way that you stand and that you walk and how it feels now.